Ray Gigant takes place on a post-apocalyptic Earth devastated by gigantic monsters, Gigants, which showed up out of the blue. It's divided into chapters following the exploits of 3 organizations out to stop them. The 3 main characters of these branches are Ichiya Amakaze, Kyle Griffin, and Neil Phineas. They are fated to stop the Gigants as Yorigami, heroes possessing the power of ancient beings. The narrative has the tone of an anime like Neon Genesis Evangelion. There's mystery surrounding both the monsters as well as the organizations pulling the strings. While it starts off slow, each chapter builds this puzzle more, accompanied by a great cast of characters. It's anime as hell, and the visual novel style may not translate well to everybody, but it's good and done surprisingly well for the most part. Gameplay itself is divided into 2 parts. First, there's the dungeon crawling. Second, giant boss fights on the level of Shadow of the Colossus. Now, as a dungeon crawler, it works relatively the same as most, although there are quite a few key changes. 1, there are no random encounters. Monsters are represented as red, yellow, and blue skulls. 2, players do not earn experience. Instead, characters level through a process of 3 different types of crystals. Yellow crystals, Seed, traditionally level up heroes. Blue crystals, Force, are used to gain other offensive and passive skills. And red crystals, Materia, are used to acquire gear and healing items. Monsters mainly drop Materia and sometimes Force crystals. Force mainly appears inside treasure points along with Seed crystals. They're also gained through defeating bosses. Let's rewind back to battles for a second. Moves like attacking cost AP. This can be regained by waiting a turn in battle or through defeating enemies. The longer fights carry on, the more tired the team becomes, leading them into a state of parasitism. Instead of using AP, HP is now the cost of using actions. Using SBM points, which can also be used for special attacks, can cure this, otherwise it'll dissipate after the battle is over. It may seem daunting, but each system is explained well and paced throughout the beginning of the game that it becomes second nature quickly. Ray Gigant itself isn't actually a hard game either, but that's not to say it's a breeze. Spending points and flailing at enemies willy-nilly will result in game over screens quickly. It's turn-based, yes, but there's definitely a tactical edge to it, especially when it comes to large-scale boss fights. Visually, I have mixed feelings about Ray Gigant's art design. The characters and monsters all look great, but there's an odd juxtaposition between the monsters and heroes during battle. The party is rendered in stunning, beautiful hand-drawn models, as opposed to the enemies, which are basically animated portraits. This actually would have been fine if not for the boss fights sharing this same aesthetic. It makes everything look cheap by comparison. Again, it's not bad so much as it is distracting. Ray Gigant is a great dungeon crawler that introduces enough new ideas to the genre to make it feel fresh. The gameplay and story hooks are more than enough to satisfy players' addictive tendencies. It takes a bit getting used to, and the art can be off-putting, but those are small bumps in an otherwise smooth journey. Don't overlook this RPG, and if you don't have a Vita, it's now available on PC too. Did you know that was a ReActionExaminer video? If you liked it, you should subscribe to me to keep up with everything that I'm doing. Also, if you have some other interests, like sex for example, check out Tum Ups, which is a comedy sex podcast thing wherein my best friend and I check out the weird and abnormal and the erotic. And of course, you should support me on Patreon because, hey, I want to make the channel better and I want your help to do so. Plus, if you want to check out my writing, check out Game Jerk, where I have archives and new stuff for all projects, okay? You can find all the stuff and more in the description with the links below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.